Yeah, elevate women's veterans, sisterhood, love, and support for all women who served. Yeah. Triumph, hardship, perseverance in the fight to win. A million times out in that field, we just survived again, climbed again. We deserve respect, we put our time in. It's only right we elevate. Yeah. This is Elevate Women Veterans with your host, Ebony Gray.
Hello. Thank you, everyone, for joining me today for Elevate Women Veterans. I am your host, Ebony Gray, and today we're going to flip it up a little bit and talk about Black women celebrating ourselves and giving ourselves permission to rest. I know, look, I just walked in and they were talking about Miss Angel Reese. And first of all, I want to represent that she's from Baltimore, Maryland. And I believe her father is from DC. So she's straight DMV. So I have to give her love, congratulate, and celebrate Miss Angel Reese. I know it's a lot of controversy out there on her name, but let's celebrate our sister. She won. That is a big deal for LSU, for Miss Angel Reese. So congratulations. So please, I hope you are celebrating with your family and friends. You need to come on home so we can have a big celebration with you. So, in celebrating Black women and ourselves, we are often expected to be so strong and resilient. Like, we are not allowed to rest. Like, how many times have we just kept going? We always give. We give to our husbands, we give to our children, we give to our families, we give to our jobs. But how many of us give ourselves permission to rest and just take care of ourselves, just celebrate ourselves, and just to rest in the moment? So oftentimes we're the community pillars. We're the ones holding it down, holding everything on our shoulders. And this is something that keeps coming up. Like, as I have a lot of conversations with the women around me, they keep saying to themselves, they're so tired, they're so worn out. Or as many women, they say, I don't have time to do some of the things that I want to do. Like, I am surrounded by a whole group of women entrepreneurs. Earlier this year in January, we started the Onward Empowerment Group with over 30 Black women to celebrate themselves, to build their businesses and their entrepreneur endeavors, and to achieve higher goals in their careers. Many of those women talked about facing burnout or the fear of, oh my gosh, I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can invest in my business right now because I have all this other stuff to do. But what about putting yourself first? Because what's that saying? If mama's not happy, the whole house isn't happy. Celebration of yourself and honoring yourself is important. We need to recognize our accomplishments. We need to acknowledge our worth, and we need to take the time to reflect on our successes. Many times I talk to women and they don't give themselves credit. Like, you are awesome, you are super, you are dynamic in your job, you're dynamic in sports. Look at us, we are taking over in the NCAA right now. We're dynamic in everything we do. So what is wrong with giving ourselves credit? Like, you see all the backlash with Angel Reese. She celebrated herself. She was in the moment celebrating. And so many people had issues with that. But I say to you, what's wrong with that young woman celebrating? You know how dynamic it is for a woman of her age to win the NCAA championship? That's a big deal. Why shouldn't she celebrate and be honored for it versus facing all the negative backlash? So we have to ask ourselves, where does that come from? Where does it come from in society's mind that they have to diminish specifically Black women in our accomplishments and our celebrations? Why is it wrong or upsetting when we have that high self-esteem and that confidence and we say, yes, I did it. Yes, I won. Yes, I am all that. I look good. I feel good. What is wrong with us celebrating ourselves and saying that? If you notice, it really makes people uncomfortable. So that is just a question that I want some of you to answer within yourselves or to just think about, why haven't you given yourself permission to rest? Why haven't you given yourself permission to celebrate yourself? And why haven't you given yourself permission to be confident, to be bold, to have that high self-esteem to say, I'm here. This is what I'm going to do. I am great at what I do. I deserve to be here and I deserve to celebrate and honor myself. And let's talk about rest. So that's the other part of it. So we're celebrating. We've accomplished all our goals. Like, think about how much you have accomplished. This is what, the first quarter of 2023. What have you accomplished since January 1st, 2023, up until April 1st, 2023? Think about all the accomplishments, even if it's small milestones. Like, maybe your goal was to lose 30 pounds. And maybe you didn't push back as often as you wanted to, but you lost the 5 pounds. Can you celebrate that? Can you celebrate that you woke up every day and went to the gym or took a walk or did a sit-up, whatever it is? Can you celebrate that maybe you didn't eat as much? Like, maybe you didn't cut down. So you didn't quite reach that 30-pound goal, but you cut down on them carbs or you cut down on that chocolate. Where I know some of you said you went dry, like you cut down on the alcohol. Congratulations. That's a big deal. So celebrate those small moments. Maybe financially, you want to celebrate yourself. Like you said, you know what? I'm trying to save $20,000 in the first 4 months of 2023. And guess what? Maybe you didn't save 5,000, 20,000. Maybe you saved $5. That's okay. Celebrate yourself. Celebrate that small win and just keep going. Like, don't be so hard on yourself to the point where if you have this outrageous goal and you don't meet it, you just shut down and say, oh my gosh, I can't accomplish anything, or I suck, or I failed. Allow yourself that time to just celebrate your wins. I know many women, they said they wanted to start businesses. We had one boutique owner and she said, okay, I want to start my boutique. Guess what? You may not be able to invest 20,000 into a boutique after 3 months, but you can order from Alibaba or wherever, all of these online markets, Amazon. You can just start ordering, selling to your friends, maybe having sip and sees, and just starting from someplace, starting from a small place. And then maybe after 100 sip and sees throughout the year, you build up and then you have that investment to build and buy the brick and mortar. Another person came to me and they said they wanted to start contracts. Well, guess what? You won't be able to maybe get a government contract tomorrow. But what if you started taking the steps in order to get that government contract, where you just filled out the SAM's information, you identified your NIAX code, you got your cage number, you did your capability statement, you wrote your capability statement, which is a big deal, and you started networking with people. Well, guess what? No, you don't have that contract tomorrow, but you've made significant steps in order to ultimately reach your goal. And then you can give yourself a timeline to reach that goal. So those are just small things as far as if you have goals, like not making a goal so big that you can't obtain them, but taking those baby steps and then celebrating the wins. Another one that always comes up is I get a lot of women that say, I want to get a new job. Well, guess what? I can tell you that multiple women that have worked with me have gotten a job. And it wasn't an overnight thing. It was, they had to put in their resume. Many of them actually had to network. They had people come to them and say, you know what? You are so awesome. You are so amazing. I want to give you this position. Hand me your resume and I'm going to give you this position after you submit your resume. So they just had to be ready. That's why I always say, stay ready. So guess what? Their goal was to get the job, and many of them are making high 6 figures now. And that's another thing. Sometimes we don't give ourselves permission to go after what we deserve. So I've had women come to me and say, oh my gosh, I don't think I deserve that high of a salary, or maybe I shouldn't ask for that much. What do you mean? If the going rate in your industry is, let's say, 260,000, why wouldn't you ask for 260,000? You don't go in there and ask for 200,000. You are worth the 260. So yes, celebrate yourself, acknowledge your accomplishments, and go into the room confident and say, you know what? This is how much I'm worth. This is the position that I'm going after. Here are my credentials, and this is why you should hire me. So I've had multiple women to celebrate that actually got the positions from various jobs. From We had one from Amazon, we had JP Morgan, we also had someone recently get hired from FEMA, right? That was a big deal of seeing these women excel and accomplish their goals. And they started with a small goal. I want to land a new job in the next 90 days. And they took the appropriate steps to actually open the door and land the job. So after you've accomplished all your goals, or even those small goals and those small wins, one thing that I emphasize is rest. So let's talk about it. Rest is essential for your physical, mental, and emotional well being as Black women. Sometimes we feel guilty about taking time off. We have leave. I know most of y'all probably are stacking up that leave because we've been in the pandemic. We're doing the virtual work. So if you have that leave, what's wrong with taking a week off? Or you know what? Maybe the week might be a stretch, right? What's wrong with taking a weekend off and just having a staycation, staying at a hotel? I have one girlfriend on Facebook. She actually does staycations once a month. She'll stay in a luxury hotel in DC. She'll wine and dine herself, have brunch in the morning, order room service and just celebrate herself once a month. Sometimes sometimes she'll include her hubby and they'll have date night. But what's wrong with that? What's wrong with going to the spa? King Spa, they always have the discounts, right? They have the $40 coupons, the $60 coupons. They even have group coupons where I think it's $100 for 4 friends. And you can just go to the spa, relax all day, and just enjoy yourself. Just breathe. Maybe you schedule like a massage once a month, or to get your manicure, pedicure once a month, or, your facial, whatever it is. It could be just sitting outside, maybe having a picnic. If you have your boo, sometimes with yourself, whatever, just going and feeling the air, the sunshine, the grass beneath your feet, and just relaxing, like giving yourself permission to rest without feeling guilty, and taking that time off without feeling that guilt of I'm letting people down, without prioritizing everybody else's needs. What's wrong with giving yourself permission to rest, to just be, to just practice self care and self preservation, and just take care of you? We have to remind ourselves to give ourselves permission to rest. A lot of times, I know we're climbing a ladder, like maybe we're aspiring to go higher, or you feel like I just have to accomplish this one next thing. It's okay sometimes just to be still and just be in the moment. And again, going back to celebrating you, and to just rest so you can recharge. Because how are you supposed to take over the world if you are exhausted and wiped out? So rest is important. It can bring you joy. If you find yourself snapping, like, you're snapping at your kids, you're snapping at your husband, you're snapping at your family, maybe it's time to pull back and rest. I know one young lady, she was falling apart, a stay at home mom of 5 children. She was wearing herself out. And I said to her, and I know this might be an unpopular opinion, what is wrong with sending your children to school? Right? She said, I'm a stay at home mom. I do homeschooling. where you're driving yourself crazy. It is nothing wrong, like nothing wrong. If homeschooling is your thing and you are the best teacher for your children and you feel like you got it under wraps, that's one thing. But if you are cussing your children out, locking yourself in a room, drinking yourself, taking pills, sleep all day, is that effective for you and your children? Probably not. So, number one, you might need to go talk to somebody, right? To ask for help or ask your partner, your spouse, your family, can you help me, right? To just give you a break. But number two, thinking about maybe resources. So even if you homeschool, is there a community homeschool, like where maybe it's a group of children, a group of parents that can help each other out? Are there other outlets? Maybe you need to get out the house. Like if you and your children are driving each other crazy, maybe you need to get out the house, right? And find maybe outside activities to help you with the learning. And also, it's nothing wrong with looking for resources and maybe finding educational institutions that will work for you and your children. I know it's scary with all the school shootings and everything that's happening. I know it's scary. You want to just put your children in a bubble, but think about ways where you can still protect your children, you can still ensure they have the best education, but you can also take care of you and your children the best way to figure out how it can work. Whether it is homeschool, like how can you have a healthy homeschool environment, or if you decide to use your resources, like again, the community homeschooling groups or schools that might be safe and effective that will make you happy and make the children happy. Or guess what? Also, extracurricular activities. So if you are homeschooling, maybe the kids don't want to be around you 24/7. Like imagine, do you want to be around you 24/7? Most times not, right? So think about this, like maybe some fun outside activities that the kids can get into so that way you get a break. And also, again, reach out to your village. Like if you are feeling burnt out, if you are feeling stressed out, it's okay to run away for a weekend. At a minimum, give yourself a weekend or a week to just refresh and recharge and allow yourself that permission to rest. Also, let's talk about the self-celebration rituals, right? As we were going through our 90-day goal workshop, the number one thing that I emphasized was when you accomplish your goals, what do you plan to celebrate your goals? Like what's your ritual? Like what is it that you're going to do to celebrate yourself? And it could be buying that favorite bottle of wine, that favorite bottle of perfume. Many women talked about going on vacation, which I thought was amazing. Like, okay, I want to go to Bali for a week. I'm going to go away to Mexico or Jamaica. Like, just celebrating yourself. What are you going to do to celebrate? One lady said, okay, I'm going to save this $1,000 and put the deposit down on my cruise. So she was going to go away on a cruise to celebrate, I believe it was her retirement. That's beautiful. That's perfect. That's a great way to celebrate yourself. It could be buying your favorite cookies or cake or whatever it is in order to celebrate yourself. But think about that. Like, what's your ritual? So for me, my ritual is I decided every 3 months, my husband and I are going to go on vacation. So his name is Nashville. So it is so exciting and thrilling for me to take him to Nashville, Tennessee. So that's something fun. We'll do like a nice little vacation to Nashville, explore Nashville, Tennessee, and kind of help him get back to his roots, right? The roots of his name. We want to go to California, so we may check out Los Angeles, Hollywood, do the Walk of Fame, just small things. Also, of course, we got to go back to his hometown in Jamaica. And you see, I have on Chelsea. So today I'm representing for my husband. We got the Chelsea football team, right? AKA soccer for Americans. But we're going to England. Like we are going to take a trip to England. That's going to be our big trip. Going to England, going to a Chelsea game, seeing them in person. Maybe we might stop past the polish, take a couple of pictures, but we're going to celebrate. So those are things that we have in the books in order to celebrate ourselves. So every time we reach like financial goals with our business, every time that we reach personal goals, like just remembering to celebrate us and to rest and recharge, because my husband, like, he works hard. He does emergency contractor work where he's a carpenter, so he does the flooring, the roofs, like he's repairing whole homes um once they have emergencies like storms, winter storms, thunderstorms, flooding, fires. Like, he goes right on in with his team, and they rebuild those whole homes. So you have to think physically, he's exhausted, right? So every so often we pull back and just rest and recharge and go on our mini vacations or our staycations. Also, at least 2, sometimes 3 times a month, we do date night. So we'll go to the movies. Like, the movies is our thing, right? Our last movie we went to see was John Wick. It was so fun just to relax. Like, we go to the movies. I have to have the reclining chairs, right? So that's a big thing for me. I can't go to regular movies anymore with just a regular chair. I need to put my feet up, relax, sit back. They deliver the food to you. It's luxurious, right? Just the small things in life, but that's something that him and I do in order to celebrate ourselves, to celebrate us, and to continue to connect as a couple. We deserve it, right? A lot of times, especially in marriages and relationships, I think we get caught up where it's just work, 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 work. And we forget to invest in each other and the relationship, and to nurture each other and to support each other, and to have those date nights, the cuddle nights, right? The blue time, and to really rest together. And most weekends, we stopped just going from place to place. You know how you schedule, the weekend comes, you got to go to, first of all, we have a lot of home renovation projects. So, like, oh, let's go to Home Depot, pick up everything. We're going to change the whole house. Do we have the time for that? Do we have the capacity to do it? Most times we want a nap. So we've learned, stop planning stuff like family events and doing all these different functions. And instead we just rest. Like, we'll literally maybe watch some movies, pop some popcorn, drink some good rum punch, and just relax. And again, celebrate each other. So it's just that simple, where you don't always have to be on go. It's okay to stop and just rest and set boundaries, right? I don't know about all of you, but I have a calendar. My calendar basically lists out when I'm available, when I'm not available. If you talk to me and you say, Ebony, let's do XYZ, the first thing I do, I say, okay, what date is that? What time? Just to see if I'm available, right? So you don't overbook or overpromise and underdeliver. I say, okay, I have availability. I'll put it on my calendar and I'll make that a priority. Also, give yourself permission to say no, right? So if you have 20 birthday parties, family reunions, you got to go to church with grandma, right? What else? Your girlfriends want to go out and do brunch. You have to give yourself permission and space to say no and not be guilty or not feel guilty. Also, I see a lot of parents where they'll say, okay, I don't have a weekend to myself, or I have to take my child from point A to point B. Carpool, right? That is the whole point of having friends and having a village, is maybe you can connect with other parents. Or again, if you have a 2-parent household, maybe you two can talk to each other and just say, all right, this weekend, I'm taking little Johnny here. Next weekend, can you take the duties of taking little Johnny here and here? Or with other parents, you can say, well, this week, we're taking them to practice. So I'll take them to practice this week. Can you take them to practice next week? So then you're not stressing yourself out. Another thing is, and this has come up, one of my friends, she does nanny work. So I know people will say, I'm not rich, I don't have money for a nanny, but maybe you do. Like if you do have the budget, maybe your time is more valuable than the money. You can hire a nanny to take over for 3 hours. Like maybe if you need like an hour or two to de-stress after work, or you need somebody to kind of hop from place to place to help take your child from place to place, and you really don't have time, like you are stressed and overwhelmed, consider hiring a nanny or a babysitter to help you out for those 2 or 3 hours. Like you do not have to be burnt out, stressed out, overwhelmed when you do have resources like family and friends. Maybe occasionally you can ask your family or friends to help you out, like if you're feeling like you're on zero. So that's the thing of setting boundaries and also prioritizing. I had one friend, she basically said, like when we have appointments and consultations, so we do a lot of consultations, a lot of free consultations to entrepreneurs, just like all of you out there. But she said, I set a specific date. So that way her whole calendar isn't filled Monday through Sunday. Let's say every Friday is her consultation day only, and she does only 15-minute consultations. So that way people don't waste their time. They get great value from those 15 minutes. And then if they want to book additional services, then of course there's a charge, or, she'll direct them to other resources. So she sets those boundaries where she's not overwhelmed. She's not working 24/7, but just one day a week, she's providing those consultations. The customers are still getting what they're supposed to get, and she's still being effective and efficient. So that's a great way to set boundaries. Also with the calendar. Again, if you're not available, you're not available. Or or maybe you have this thing where you need one weekend day. That's it. Don't schedule anything. Like I have one friend, every Sunday is no electronic day, where they log off Facebook, social media, they put all their cell phones in the bucket, and they do not use any electronics for the whole Sunday. So it used to be the whole Sunday. I think they, now that the kids are teenagers, you know how that goes. Now it's half a day because it's a compromise, right? It's a balance, but it's a great way to reconnect, to communicate with your family outside of texting and social media, and just to set that boundary where Sunday, from this time to this time, there's no contact outside of family in this household. So that's a boundary. Those are just small things that you can set for yourself, looking at your calendar, setting your time, cutting your phone off. Oh, that's a good one. I know the iPhone. See, the iPhone tricks you because it automatically does it. So some of y'all on Do Not Disturb, wondering why you're not getting phone calls, phone just going straight to voicemail. But setting your phone on Do Not Disturb. So say, for instance, you're winding down for the night, you're about to turn in. Okay, so 9 o'clock at night, your phone goes on Do Not Disturb. People can't call you, but I'm going to tell you, mama probably going to call 2 or 3 times. People can reach you if they call back to back, but don't let them know that, right? But put your phone on Do Not Disturb, relax, and just unwind and recharge. Maybe take a nice little bubble bath, soak if you can. If you got kids, maybe you need to lock the door or whatever so you can get mommy and me time. It's cool. Just relax, wind down, maybe set your nighttime ritual. And that's just another way to like relax, celebrate yourself, but also establish those boundaries where you say from 9 o'clock until the time I wake up, let's say from 9 to 6, I'm setting these boundaries where nobody can get in unless it's an emergency. And of course, if you have children or husband, that's, you work that out the best way you can. But as far as the outside world, you're establishing those boundaries. The same thing with business. If you have a business, don't feel like you have to work that business 24/7. Maybe think about some automated processes so you can still work your business in your sleep. For example, let's say I have 4 businesses, and that's for real. So I have Grace Handyman Services. So I hire a virtual assistant to run that, to book the different bookings, to figure out what the customer needs, and to look at my husband's calendar to figure out when he can do certain jobs, because he does the Grace Handyman Services, handyman services. So anything you need, from hanging up TVs to carpentry to putting in the whole kitchen, plumbing, whatever. But again, you have a virtual assistant looking at his calendar, seeing when he's available. So then that takes that off of my plate. So I'm not having to do that administrative part, or like updating the websites. So that's the admin, like, the peace of mind, setting that boundary. So then I have my consulting services where I'm consulting with various businesses. Okay, I have my calendar, I have my set times when I actually meet with clients, and then I establish set times when I actually work on the proposals or any follow up items. So you're setting the boundary. So it's not 80 hours a week, it's within, let's say, these 20 hours. This is when I'm going to focus on this portion of my life. So compartmentalizing, setting those boundaries. Um, One thing, especially as I talk to mothers, is the guilt, right? Like, especially if you have multiple businesses, you're working 40 hours a week, and then you have children. When do you spend time with the children? So that's another thing of, you set time for yourself. So you're giving yourself permission to rest. But also, I mean, it's beautiful outside right now. Setting that time to spend with your children. It could be going to museums, it could be going to the libraries, it could be going to all these various shows and festivals, which are free all throughout DC, Maryland, and Virginia. But just setting that time and those boundaries, like talking to your children every Saturday from this time to this time, it's mommy and me date night or date day, and we're just going to have fun and do some things that you want to do. We're going to go to the zoo, we're going to go to the museums, we're going to go to the movies, whatever it is. And you can budget, right? Like, I know sometimes it might be overwhelming. You might say, dang, this is outside my budget. Well, one of my friends, she has a frugal group on Facebook. So it's like DMV frugal. And again, family family friendly events that are fun, that are mostly free or very low price. So that way you can set that boundary. You can still budget, so you can still meet that goal of saving your $1 million. You can still have fun with your family, and you can explore different aspects of DC. And again, just getting out, getting some vitamin D, right? Getting some sunshine, and just enjoying. I know many of you, have you seen like the cherry blossoms that are popping up? And let me tell you, you don't have to go into DC to see the cherry blossoms. You can go to pretty much any community and actually see those cherry blossoms. I believe Bethesda has like a botanical garden. So look up the botanical gardens around you, and you can actually still see the beautiful blossoms with less crowds, because most people won't think of the alternative places. That's just a way to set those boundaries, be able to explore, different pathways, different avenues, and to connect and celebrate. Also, I just saw, I think on Instagram, they posted a young lady, or no, TikTok. A lady talked about she was feeling sad because she hadn't had a hug. Like, she hadn't had a hug, it seemed like, in years, right? She was feeling isolated and lonely and was longing for touch, right? A hug. I think that's an important conversation. Like, number one, it's not just about men and women, it's she's missing that physical touch and that connection, right? So I want all of you as Black women to find your tribe, right? Like, think about different ways. Like, if you don't have that girlfriend group, because you might have your man or your husband or your think pieces or whatever, But do you have a connection? Do you have your sister circle? Because a lot of times you need just a safe space to be able to talk and reach out and connect to other Black women or to other women, right? So Facebook is a great place. You can find different groups. I know DMV does is like a big group throughout Facebook. That's all it's about is connecting people. But then you got the bougie brunch groups and the DMV brunch and all of these groups where you can find your tribe. So maybe if you like the bougie brunches, look for groups that talk about bougie brunches and see if you can connect. Maybe go to a brunch, check them out. See if you like their vibes. Maybe you like happy hours, right? You can look at specific to your area, like Montgomery County, Prince George's County, Laurel, wherever, Baltimore, DC, and then maybe find different groups to connect with so you can go to those happy hours not by yourself, but with a group. Or meetups. Another good thing, like if you're just trying to find your tribe, trying to connect, trying to do something to celebrate yourself and get out there, consider meetups, right? The one thing, I think his name is Goomba. He does hikes, and I think that's so cool, right? Black people that hike, like a whole group. So this is men and women. But if you like outdoor activities, which is very healthy, so talking about therapy, which I highly encourage, like if you feel like you need to talk to somebody or a safe space to just open up, therapy is definitely beneficial. But think about also connecting with your tribe and with the outdoor activities. Just imagine like hiking through nature with a group and feeling safe. So that way, get there, get back, just in case you need somebody to pick you up and carry you, back the other way, whatever. Hiking, running, yoga. My favorite group is the wine tasting groups. I like to relax and just sip on some wine. But those are just some things that you can get into to not only celebrate yourself, but also to connect and maybe have those meaningful conversations and get it all out. Because I know a lot of times as women, we hold everything, right? Like we're trying to take care of everybody and you know, going through our day to day life. But when's the last time that you took time to connect to your tribe and to just vibe, just have these conversations with other women in a safe space, enjoying like even something fun that comes up, like the axe room. So maybe you angry, you need to let out some aggression, throw the axes or the rage room. I still haven't went to the rage room. Whatever you do, probably don't go to the escape room because I don't know about you, but I can't escape from the escape room. So that causes me stress. But if that's your thing, you like the puzzles and trying to figure stuff out, that's another just fun thing. Speaking of the NCAA, right? I'm gonna keep bringing up Angel Reese, but going to sports games, right? The NCAA games typically are not that much. Like they almost are free, especially if you're alumni. The other thing is maybe like the NBA games, NFL, NHL, whatever it is, whatever is your thing, soccer, you can find so much and you can connect to the groups. So that way you have your vibe, or you can go by yourself or go with your partner, go with your children and just have fun. So I want you in your day to day. I mean, we always take care of business, especially as Black women. I think whew, that's what we do, right? 24/7. It's always a grind. But remember to just have fun, right? So this is all this discussion was about today was just celebrating ourselves, reminding ourselves to rest and prioritize ourselves, but most importantly, have fun. I really do feel like life is just too short. I've seen so many people, sadly, especially during COVID, pass away. And I am 43 years old. Multiple friends have passed away over the past couple of years from various things, from cancer, from COVID, heart attacks, suicide. So I want all of you to just remember to celebrate yourselves. Life is short. Remember to connect and remember to connect with the people that really mean something to you as well. So you celebrate yourself, you rest, also connect, those meaningful connections so you don't feel isolated, you don't feel lonely. I know I've also seen it pop up on my timeline like with the seasonal depression. That's real. That's real. And winter won't go away. I don't know about y'all, but I do be feeling the blues during the winter time. And it won't go away. I want the sunshine to just come out and be consistent, right? But now that we have that sunshine, go on, get out of bed. I know you've been in bed for like the past 6 months, hibernating, but get out of bed, get some sunshine, celebrate yourself, join those support groups and that network of friends. So that way you have your tribe. Because, you know, don't isolate yourself. Get out there, have fun, right? Find your community, whatever it is, whether it's the introverts, the extroverts, the yoga tribe, the hiking tribe, the turn up tribe, whatever. Find your tribe. And it's okay. If you do want to just be by yourself, that's okay too. Get out the house. Like go to these festivals, go to the park, embrace that, embrace the love. And remember the self celebration. So again, it could be popping a bottle and sipping the wine. If you drink the whole bottle, make sure you're responsible. Let's celebrate and make it an ongoing practice. Make it something that isn't a one time a year type thing, but it's something that's habitual. Every time that you accomplish your goal, every time you reach a significant milestone, make it habitual to just celebrate yourself. Again, as Black women, we need to continually prioritize ourselves and our well-being in order to thrive in this society. Oftentimes we're told that we shouldn't celebrate, that we don't have, for whatever, we have the mentality that we don't have permission to celebrate. Today, I want all of us to change that. Give yourself permission to celebrate yourself. Give yourself permission to rest and give yourself permission to prioritize you because you're worth it. So that is all the time I have for today's podcast. I thank you for joining me on this journey of self celebration and rest. And again, I emphasize remember to take care of yourselves and celebrate all that you are.
Yeah, elevate women's veterans, sisterhood, love and support for all women who served. Yeah. Triumph, hardship, perseverance in the fight to win. A million times out in that field, we just survived again, climbed again. We deserve respect, we put our time in. It's only right we elevate. Yeah. This is Elevate Women Veterans with your host, Ebony Gray.
Big boss butter on the beat. It's the anti-beat. This is Petro Gang.
You fucking with them, no pass, we curry. You shooting off the hip, we gon' make you a hashtag. I'm about to go spend me some thousands and tell that bitch to go get who she bring me to. I'm jamming like shit, I keep missing my flight. There's shit going on, bitch, cut on your light. Try jumping this water with us, getting burned. I've been out on whoever on the man, we a perk.
I to the house to the car, say eat. Then double. Shit, I was 16, pop them pills. I'm on the block, stop shit like I'm y'all man. Play with the gang, you know what that shit, bro.
Papa John son got tricks about sleep. We fishing this bitch for 3 hours, you breathe. I'm round with Jay and we crackin'. I know how I rob, I beg the whole crap by myself. I gotta tell you for bad, you supporting the man. I'm trying to make it pour down on him and his man. This shit get it rolling, you a clip of your mind. Really tryna go every day again. Never wake up at 6 in the morning. You ain't never sit with the hazards and look like a lift. These 5 7 20 tryna send you a kiss. I know some top notch bitches that slime, some low class bitches that fake man slime. This little effing in it to drop off this one and get wife like she ain't got a body and everything. We curry, you shooting off the hip, we gon' make you a hashtag. I'm about to go spend me some thousands and tell that bitch to go get who she bring me to me. I'm jamming like shit, I keep missing my flight. There's shit going on, bitch, cut on your light.
I to the house to the car, say eat. Then double back with a Gen 423. I put the car crack shit, I was 16. Pop them pills. Switch on the 19. Hashtag gang, get it done with the 18. I'm on the block, stop shit like I'm y'all man. Play with the gang, you know what that shit bring. I might just come out the coop. Get out the mission, get killed in the loop. We get the drop and we coming right through. Time we sing. Next time I slide through, nigga, I'ma punish. Hop with the car all black, this monkey suit. All my ice block got twists in the same shoes. Me and my niggas, we winning. Bro, I got the same Glock, I say we twinning. Niggas ain't out of they pots, I spend on your bumper. I know your car by your fender. They storm me off, keep catching the flip, keep. This miserable shit, keep playing, I miss. I might double back if that shit be a miss. You told them that's so Nick, cause when this shit roll, you can't run when it hits you. Nigga got in here.
What's going on, y'all? Y'all feeling today? Control Chaos Takeover again. You know, I got the squad in here. There's no need to introduce them. You know, you already know. You know, you done seen them out in Nova. Keisha was with the filming this weekend.
Oh yeah. Let me start off with that. None of my lives posted. I don't know why. It was like 8 of them still saying process, then they disappeared. My bad, y'all. I know a lot of people mad, but I'm just letting y'all know.
Well, we appreciate you anyway. You at least was out there trying. You know, got a lot of footage from this weekend. Got the offensive twin over there because people always say they're confused.
Yeah, T2, you know. Yeah.
Still don't know the difference.
Unfortunately, our guest was not able to make it tonight, but we're going to keep this moving tonight. Nova. Hey, look, let's get right into it.
Oh, the hype. Let's talk about the hype game.
Hey, look.
It's really hyped up?
It was hype. You know, the number one game, no matter who won this weekend, was that ASAP versus UT game.
Right.
Shit. That shit was hype, bro. But the niggas that made it hype, bro. On our side, they made it hype, bro. I don't know. I don't have nothing to say about that game, bro. It just stunk it, bro. Stunk it real